Namaskar. We will be continuing with the series on the remedies for Chandra based on Chandra position, Moon's position in the chart. And this will be the last session in which I'll cover the pending part, which was the remedies related to the nakshatra lord of the moon. And after that, I'll also be covering some doubts or frequently held questions, as well as giving certain instructions regarding the mantras. So please stay till the end because there will be a lot of important things which will be mentioned, and this will satisfy most of the questions which have been asked or which people may have in their mind. Okay. So, firstly, what we have covered was the mantras related to the ninth lord from the moon. Here, do note one thing which I've added. I mentioned the weekday when you should start these mantras. Okay. So, for example, Namah Shivaya should be started on Thursday. And many of the mantras are supposed to be started on a Thursday. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So, and for Gauri, you may start on Monday or Friday, and for Skanda or Hanuman, you can start on Tuesday. And Lakshmi has to be started on Friday. So, this covers all the possible mantras which have been discussed previously. And we discussed a couple of charts. You can see this in the previous video on of mine where I talked about uh, the remedies for moon ninth house and then also remedy for the moon sign itself. So where I had in the last video I had given the remedies for Shubhapati or the sign lord of moon. Okay, and these were those mantras, the Bhagavata mantras. Okay, this is based on the Vishnu avatar for the concerned Shubhapati. And then I talked about the Dattatreya mantra. Okay, and today we are going to cover this mantras for the nakshatra lord. Okay, this is again very simple. So both of this is to solve for the moon itself. Okay, um, so either you do the mantra for the Shubhapati or you do the mantra for the nakshatra lord. Okay, now I'd given one indication previously. How do you know which is the right one to do? See which planet is more afflicted. Is the moon sign lord more afflicted in your chart, or is the moon nakshatra lord more afflicted in your chart? That should help you give an understanding of this. So this is from the Dasavatar Sukta of Shri Krishna by Maharishi Atri. This is given in the book Vedic Remedies in Astrology by Pandit Sanjayrath in page number 87. So that is a phenomenal book. It has a compendium of many mantras, though you should know when to use which. Okay, and that is what this kind of exercise is doing. So there is a slight difference in terms of the mantras given there versus here for certain grahas, but the basic structure is pretty much the same. Only thing is there is an addition of Shri over here. We are adding Shri because we are talking about the moon, and when we talk of moon, it is always auspicious to add Shri to the mantras, whether you do Graha mantras or any Devata mantras, etc. So, for example, if Surya is your nakshatra lord, when is Surya your nakshatra lord? When your nakshatra is Uttara Falguni, right? Or Uttarashadha or Kritika. These are the three nakshatras when Surya is your or Sun is your nakshatra lord. Okay. At that time, so the avatara is concerned is Sri Rama, and the mantra you do is Om Klim Shri Ramaya Nama. Note that all these diacritics are mentioned. This is as per the IAST form of writing, transliterating Sanskrit to English so that it is very exact. You are saying the exact sound. Okay, so it's Om Klim Shri Ramaya Nama. Whenever you find this line on top of A, it means you are pronouncing it as A, not A. So it is Ramaya Nama, like that. Okay. For Krishna, it is Om Klim Shri Krishnaya Nama. Om for Mars as the nakshatra lord. So when is Mars your nakshatra lord? When your nakshatra is Mrigashira or Chitra or Dhanishta, right? That is when Mars is your nakshatra lord. Then you will do, and if say the Mars is afflicted badly, then you do Om Klim Shri Narsimha Rupaya Nama. Note that there is a word Rupaya in this case. Okay, this you will find in some other mantras also like Vaman Rupaya, Kurma Rupaya, Varaha Rupaya, Matsya Rupaya. Okay. Now, for Mercury and Venus, the Dashavatar Sukta doesn't really give the names Balabhadra and Rishikesha. It is not giving anything at all. But we know that the avatar for Mercury is Balabhadra and for Venus it is Parshurama. And in our tradition, we generally prefer to use these rupas, Balabhadra and Rishikesha, instead of Parshurama. So, Om Klim Shri Balabhadraya Nama for Mercury as the nakshatra lord, and Om Klim Shri Rishikeshaya Nama for Venus as the nakshatra lord. Since I'm at it, let me tell the nakshatras for the other planets also, right? For Chandra, it would be the nakshatras are Rohini, Hasta, and Shravana. Okay, if these are your nakshatras, then the nakshatra lord of your chart is Moon itself. For Mercury, Mercury would be nakshatra lord if your nakshatra is um, Ashlesha, Jyeshtha, and Revati. It's funny that I thought for a while, considering that my nakshatra lord is Mercury. It happens. Jupiter, it is Punarvasu and Vishakha and Purva Bhadrapada. Venus, the nakshatras are Bharani, Purva Falguni, and Purvashada, the two Purvas, other than Purva Bhadrapada, which is of Jupiter. And Shani, the nakshatras linked are Pushya, Anuradha, and Uttara Bhadrapada. Rahu, the nakshatra lord is, Shatabishaj, Ardra, and Swati. Swati is the nakshatra of Lord Hanuman. Rahu, Pavana. Ketu is when the nakshatra is Ashwini, Magha, and Mula. Okay. Now here we are using Rahu and Ketu. Why? Because they are the nakshatra lords. You can't have a non-nodal nakshatra lord in these cases. So you have to do it. And why in Shivapati's case we do it, because we don't take the nodes, is because they don't really have, one is not having a body, one is not having a head, right? So they're not really what you call the body planets, as it's called in English. So that because of that we don't take them. But for nakshatra, prana is there with everyone, right? All these grahas have the prana. Okay. Also, when you have, let's say, any breathing related issues, maybe your nakshatra lord is affected. Not necessarily, but maybe it is. So these mantras would come of use at that time as well. Okay. Now, just to summarize, so with this we have completed all the remedies which Visti Guruji had talked about in the lecture. So I've given the exact mantras for all the remedies that he had talked about. Okay. So what have we done? We have first covered the ninth house from the moon, which is for getting settled in whether your job or business, basically feeling settled on this planet Earth. Okay, and then you're able to go and do whatever purpose you are there for. And for this, you do the Pratyadi Devata of the Bhava, which is the ninth house from the moon. Okay, so if let's say your moon is in the fifth house, then the ninth house from the moon is Lagna, and the Karaka for Lagna is Surya. So you will do Shiva, Namah Shivaya, like that. Now, if there are people who are not able to get started itself, here we are talking of someone who is trying his best, but is not able to get a job or get clients, etc. But there are people who are not even feeling the motivation to get started. There are they are very shy of going out, or they are lacking the mental resilience. They get affected by setbacks very badly, or maybe they have had a setback in their lives and that has affected them and they are just not ready to go out. In such cases, what do you do? So you either see, is the Shubhapati afflicted or is the nakshatra lord afflicted, and depending on that you do either the Krishna Dashavatar mantras which I talked today, or the Bhagavata mantras which I mentioned in the previous lecture and I've also showed today as well. Now, in very severe cases, you do the Dattatreya mantra, which is Dattatreya Hare Krishna. Okay, the short form Ashtakshari is good enough. You can do the longer form if you like it, no, nothing stopping you, but the short form is also good enough. Now, some typical questions related to mantras. The starting weekday. I mentioned specifically for this moon ninth house, Pratyadi Devata. There are specific weekdays which I would recommend you to start those mantras from, whether depending on whether it is Shiva or Narayana or Lakshmi or Gauri or Hanuman, etc. But when we talk of all these Vishnu mantras, whether it is for Shubhapati, whether it is for the Nakshatra Lord, or whether even the Dattatreya mantra, start on a Thursday. That is the starting weekday recommended. Time of the day, prefer to do all of these mantras in the morning. That is to get the best results. Okay. Not that you can't do these mantras in the evening or there's any prohibition, you can do, but it's recommended you do it in the morning, especially because when you're talking about getting work, wealth, and all that, these are daytime activities, right? Of course, if someone is having too much of a health issue and all that, they can consider doing it in the evenings. There's no harm in that. But Vishnu mantras we specifically do in the morning. Shiva mantras, Devi mantras you can do in the evening, but Vishnu mantras is always recommended to do in the morning. Now count. Um, there are two ways. One is what Guruji has suggested in the video. You can do maybe 2 malas or 3 malas of these mantras. 3 malas would be better for say a 6 months or 1 year period. The other is you can do more intensely. So one thing what I would suggest is do 10 malas or 10 mala. When I say a mala, I mean 108 repetitions. That is called 1 mala. So 10 malas means 10 into 108. Okay, that is you count 108 and then you count second time 108, then you count third time 108. It's not like you count 108, 109, 110. Not like that. You count 108 multiples of 100. Again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. After that 100 is over, then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now either you can use your hand. Hand is very good, no problem at all. Okay, or that is the fingers. You can use a phalanges, or some people can even use their fingers to count, whichever way is comfortable. Or you can use a mala or a rosary. Okay, for Vishnu mantras we typically recommend a tulsi mala, and for Shiva mantras and maybe all the other mantras, just to keep it simple, you can use a rudraksha mala. Okay, so this covers this question. Now someone may say, Karthik, I've been doing it for 6 months, 1 year, no use, no nothing, no results at sight. It can happen too. It can happen like that. Now why is it so? It depends on, see, each chart is different, right? This is a standard for everyone we are giving over here. Okay, now depending on your chart how much affliction is there, right, that may take time. It's not that these mantras are in any way ineffectual or bad or not to be done, etc. It's not like these mantras are not good for someone, good for someone else. No, these are very good sattvic mantras. There is no harm, as they say, no side effects in doing this. But for some it may take a longer while depending on their karmas which they have to overcome, right? Now, sometimes, now here is where you have to go to a Jyotishi. It's not necessary you have to come to me. You can go to any good Jyotishi, and then you may get a more specific mantra which may work faster and more easily for your particular chart. Okay, but this is, on an internet we can't look everyone's chart and give a suggestion. This is a suggestion given for everyone, which is useful for everyone, and this will work. It may take different amounts of time. For some, it may work even earlier, depending on their chart, right? Some cases the problem may be temporary, some cases the problem may be more permanent or long term. So all these things depend. Okay, my Guruji Sanjayji, he has done a very good video on karma theory. If you go to his channel, you search just karma theory Sanjayrath, okay, in YouTube, you will find this video on that. That shows what are the different kinds of karma, drida karma, adrida karma, drida adrida karma, and all that, right? And how to determine it. Drida means very fixed karma, it takes time to overcome it. Adrida means not that much, it may not take that much time. So it is individual, depending on person to person, and it depends on the strength of the graha or how badly it is afflicted, etc. Okay, so this is a standard disclaimer, you may say like that. Now, some other questions which may come, I have seen this in the comments, so I am addressing them. Um, and if you still have more questions after I've answered that, feel free to ask. No problems at all. I may answer this in the comments, or if I see again there are many different questions, I may do a separate video for that. No problem. Now, one question was initiation required for these mantras? It generally it is believed that you require initiations for mantras. Yes, that there's nothing wrong in that. It's the right point. But not everyone can find a guru and get initiated in these mantras. And for the purpose, when we say a material purpose for wealth and all that, it's not necessary. And many of these mantras are what is called prasiddha mantras, meaning they are the rishi has already unlocked it for the general public. Okay, it's available for everyone. Anyone can do it. But even say a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya, which is a prasiddha mantra, if you are very much dedicated to Lord Shiva, you can definitely say you have done this mantra for a long period of time. Then you can go to a good guru, a proper guru, and get an initiation of the mantra as well. Okay, with proper pujas, etc. Okay. Ultimately, it's your guru who will decide what is the right mantra for you. But if you want, you can also get an initiation. It depends on luck automatically. It depends on your karma and all destiny when it would happen. But for the purpose, very simple, simply put over here, it is not really required. Okay. Parivartana. There were various questions on Parivartana, like moon is having Parivartana with some graha. Parivartana meaning exchange of signs. Okay. Say if moon is in Leo and sun is in Cancer, they are in mutual, they are in each other's signs. So it's called an exchange of sign. Now, either moon itself is having Parivartana or the dispositor of moon, whom we call Shubhapati, that planet is having Parivartana with some planet. It may be in different signs, or it may be that particular moon sign itself is involved in Parivartana. Whatever may be the thing, simple, straightforward answer for all Parivartana is forget that, don't worry about that for now. Read the chart as if there is no Parivartana and basis that. So, let's say if your moon is in Scorpio and Mars is in Leo and say Sun is in Scorpio. So there is a Sun Mars exchange, no problem, forget it. Moon is in Scorpio, ninth house from Moon is still Cancer, and hence you will do the Gauri mantra for if you want to do the ninth house from Moon. Moon's Shubhapati is still Mars, so you still do Mars mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Narsimhaya. Or if you, let's say for nakshatra, if moon is in say in Scorpio, in Anuradha nakshatra, it is in Saturn's nakshatra. So then the Kurma Rupaya mantra, which I have just showed you today, right? So just forget that there is a parivartana and basis that decide on the mantra. Okay, don't get confused by that. There was another question: should we focus on the moon sign and the planets conjoining it? No, don't get confused. Again, don't focus on that. You focus on the ninth house for the moon, or the Shubhapati, or the Nakshatra Lord. That's it. If moon may be with two other or three other planets, that doesn't matter. Okay. You only are focusing on who is the Lord of the moon sign and who is the Lord of the Nakshatra of moon. That's all. Are these mantras safe for everyone? I think I've already answered. There's no harm. Everyone can do these mantras. These are sattvic mantras. These are for good purpose. These are not for harming anybody. There is no problem at all. And what about, okay, this is a very important point. Other remedies, Guruji mentioned pranayama. Yes, he mentioned pranayama, but for that you go to a proper pranayama teacher. I am not a pranayama teacher, right? You go to a proper yoga and pranayama teacher. He will look at the constitution of your body, whether it is vata, pitta, kapha, or what combination of it, or what kind of problems you are having. Are you heating up, cooling down, etc.? And depending on that, he will decide, okay, which of the 10 different pranayama techniques is the right one for you. Okay. So these mantras are done in parallel. Whatever other things you're doing, say yoga, pranayama, any specific diet or any therapy or any medicines, allopathic, homeopathy, all that you can do that. That is a separate thing. How do these mantras really work? These mantras are basically helping your mind know where to go for solution. First, they will themselves solve the problem. Let's say you're not getting job opportunities, you may get job opportunities, or you're not feeling like getting up and going out, it will give you that motivation, and then it will help you understand where to go to. If you have a health issue or whatever, it will help you direct where to go for that. Okay. And whether that's how these mantras work. They work on your mind, they give you that insight what is right for you. So you keep definitely, you don't stop your medicines or any your therapy or anything like that because you're doing these mantras. Oh, these mantras will now take care, I'm not going to do any medicines. People can think like this, I don't know. So I'm just saying, don't think like that. They you keep taking whatever your therapy or medicines etc. and do these mantras. They will, if you are doing something wrong, it will give you that insight, or if you're doing right, it will say okay, continue with it. Okay. Now, nodes are not considered as Shubhavati, but they are considered as nakshatra lord. This is an important clarification I just wanted to make. And yeah, with that it is done. And if you still feel that you have queries and you want to have specific remedy for your chart and all that, you can freely you are free to consult me. Consultation is not free. Okay, you can go to my website www.kartikshrinivasan.com. You need not come necessarily to me. You can go to any good jyotishi. There are many in our parampara who are practicing, who are doing a great job. You can consult anyone who you think you trust. Okay. With that, I thank you a lot for your patience and hope this has been a useful session for all of you. If you have any further questions, feel free to comment and ask me. Namaskar.